What's one piece of career advice you would give someone starting their career in data?
That's a very, very common question. My take on this one is that being technically good, working hard, delivering, code and product is table stakes these days. And with Gen AI being so prevalent, how good the Anthropic model is, there's now Cursor helping us code. It's reduced the distance to data to the business user itself. And so my advice would be, especially for the data professionals out there, what makes the good to the excellent is really around your communication skills and being able to tell a compelling story in order to communicate the insights that you're seeing in the data. That will definitely mark you out as different and not just a commodity data engineer, data scientist, fill in your title. Yeah. For me, storytelling and communication is always what I look for as a hiring manager, and it will give you an outsized advantage over your peer group. If I would add one more thing, given the rate of change and what's going around and how everything's kind of looking around the world, it would be learning agility. And so staying agile and just, staying on top of things and a nimble mindset would be really helpful. But yeah.
Okay, thanks. And can you share a pivotal moment in your career journey that made a significant impact?
Oh, there's so many, Ritesh. Look, for me, the most relief and the most exciting time was I worked in private equity with a private equity turnaround for a while with the team, and we got parachuted into an investment, and it was exhilarating. Getting the keys to that and setting up the new structures, transforming that business, and executing on the plan. And finally, after 4 years of very hard work, transforming that business and selling it finally was an incredible feeling. I learned a lot about business. I learned a lot about running a business as lean as possible. I learned a lot about people as well and how we can kind of build high-performing teams and work really, really hard. For me, that was one of the most pivotal moments in my career. And, we sold for an amazing exit. So for me, that was a significant impact.
And just want to touch on that a little bit in the sense of, obviously now you're also in data and you would have had a lot of experience in terms of the business elements, learning the intricacies of a business itself and how it works. What would you say it takes to actually bridge that gap between data and business knowledge itself? Because at the end of the day, you see there is still a good element of segmentation between the two, where you'll have a lot of data people who can come in, present something, but sometimes they still miss out on key elements of context in terms of what can be done with the data or why the data should be useful. What would you say is needed there in terms of being able to bridge that?
I think the biggest thing that helps is mindset. So when I go into a role, what I'm thinking about is I'm not a finance guy, I'm not a data guy, I work at ALDI, a retail discount supermarket. I'm a grocery retailer. And previously, when I worked at Mars, I was not a supply chain finance lead. I wasn't a finance guy. I was we made confectionery and I was part of that. And being open to that is super, super important. Taking in what the business has to offer and looking at your skill set as just the tools that you have in front of you to enable what happens. In order for you to execute upon, from my perspective, being a retailer, for example, it's just how I happen to be a retailer is through data and analytics, and so that's kind of how I do it.
Okay, and you also mentioned, obviously, before we started this recording, that you started a little bit more in finance and you moved into data. What would you say would have been the necessary skills or preparation that you had to take in moving to that new role and transitioning into it?
Moving from one to the other is certainly not for the faint of heart. It took a long time and it took a lot of learning. I was very lucky that I moved at a relatively senior level. So for me, I wasn't hands-on in the toolkit and I wasn't coding myself. But what's important is that you work as a team, you're open to experts in particular, use the strength of the team, and that you're constantly consuming knowledge, and you're just trying to keep up with the rest of the group. So for me, it's still a lot of hard work. In terms of what specifically, my job is, as an executive leader, is trying to build the right environment and the right foundations for the data professionals to do their job and connect in the best possible way. For me, especially working in retail, none of the problems that we've solved for are new. There are solutions out there already, and it's just being humble enough to research it, learn about it, connect with industry professionals, connect with experts, get the right advice, listen to the team, and get out of the way, frankly.
Okay, fair enough. And then for the final question, how do you approach challenges and setbacks in your professional life, and what's your go-to strategy for overcoming them?
Yeah, another challenging question. So for setbacks that are more, let's say, career related, you applied for a job, you applied for a promotion, and you were rejected. For me, my mindset is that the no, that you didn't get it or whatever, is a temporary thing, and that it's an opportunity to learn more about your craft and sharpen what you do. Because typically, sometimes I look at it as a blessing, because I tell the guys, if you get promoted too early, it's often not fun either, because if you're out of your depth, it's just more painful for everyone. So sometimes a no, it's just an opportunity to learn more. For business related challenges, for challenges that come at you, from outside, for me, nothing beats a war room. Bringing in the right people, selecting the team of experts that you need for a particular problem, that are, the best in their craft or the best that we can access, and a good whiteboard session. There's not very much that I haven't solved with a couple of hours, a few coffees, and a whiteboard. And I will say, I've yet to find a way to do this over video call. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I haven't seen it yet. For me, the harder question is, how do you get the right people in that room? Who do you actually call? But for me, a good whiteboard session is the answer.
Okay. To help you out with the whiteboard thing, you can always share your screen on Paint.
Yes. It doesn't have the same tactility, like a pen in your hand, sticky notes. I know you can do all this in Paint, there's people that do it in Confluence, there's people that do it in there's all different products. But for me, it's the tactility, it's the focus, because you want to focus on the problem. Laptop's closed, whiteboard, let's just focus and think, define the problem, understand the implications, and get the right advice.
Yeah, I fully agree with that as well. In my case, I noticed what I used to do a lot was, when I'm facing a challenge or a problem or something, I would always type out notes on my phone or my laptop. And then I realized, wait, this is not getting me anywhere, because you end up deleting notes, this, that, whatever it is. You don't have it right in front of you properly, like a nice traditional pen and paper style. And ever since I went back into just writing things in my notebook to help me with this and see it clearly, then I realized, okay, things are improving here, like in terms of my ability to read a situation and try to come up with a solution for it. So fully agree.